Hi everyone, this is Joan, and later today I'll finish, well not finish, but I'll do another chapter of Esther, but I did want to bring this to you because it kind of illustrates what I've been saying over the years, and that is basically, ladies, be careful. It is like there's some sort of a spirit out there that is making men turn their aggression, instead of it being outside where they can protect other people or protect their families. It is, it seems to, a lot of it is being directed toward women. And especially, this is important for Black women because the rates are just higher for Black women being harmed. Uh, Usually it is from someone of our own race. And I think, yeah, that's proximity and also a certain dislike. But this time it was a Caucasian man. But let me just read the story to you. And I have the sound off, so maybe it will let the video play. Let's see. Happened Tuesday, and this is from Fox 59, and it happened in Indianapolis, Indiana. Blow her head off video shows armed man attack, threatened to shoot woman outside Indy gas station. A viral video captured this week outside a Northeast Indy gas station shows a man pointing a handgun in a woman's face and shoving her up against a car while threatening her. Police have since arrested the man on various felony charges. Indy police crews were called around 8 p.m. Tuesday to a speedway on East 56th Street for a white male holding a black female at gunpoint by one of the gas pumps. Officers soon arrived and arrested 60-year-old Mark D. White of North Carolina for strangulation, intimidation, battery, pointing a loaded firearm, and more. A video taken by a witness has since been viewed over 1 million times on Facebook. Viral video captures armed altercation. The video, which was posted by Facebook user Kevin Edwards, appears to show a man armed with a large silver pistol cornering a woman who is sitting inside her car. The woman then stands up and the man pushes her up against the car while pointing the gun at her head. "Don't put your gun in my face," the woman can be heard yelling. She then turns to Edwards and says, "Call the cops." She didn't do anything to show signs of aggression, so he definitely took it to the extreme, Edwards said in an interview with Fox 59 CBS 4. Edwards recorded the flight the fight on his cell phone and watched the man repeatedly threaten to shoot the woman at point blank range. He and multiple other witnesses began yelling for help after the man pulled out the gun. Now, even though I'm not playing the video, I'm not sure if I could, even if I knew where it was, but you see how close he is to her. Now, I saw another video by the Dynamic Reason channel, and he was saying that the woman was at fault because you can see this gas tank behind them, and she's blocking it. But I think that he, the white guy, couldn't see that it was broken, so he started screaming and honking at her. Now, she was in the car. According to the Dynamic Reason channel, she got out of the car and walked over to him and they started arguing. And then he took the gun. She had a gun at her side, but you can't see it here and they haven't mentioned it so far. Uh, she had a gun at her side. She got out and went to talk to him. He got out of the car and I guess pushed her over. Well, they said she had gotten back in the car. He put a gun to the windshield. She got out of the car. I have to say, she is a very gutsy woman because that is kind of what I wanted to say, that it seems to be like a worldwide war on women. I mean, in Afghanistan, women are not even allowed to laugh in their own homes. So, I know it's maddening. It makes you want to fight back. But the point is, men have two things you don't have, and that is they're more muscular and they're more aggressive, both. And you can even see the size differential here. He is, even though he's 60, he's a lot bigger than this woman. And you kind of figure at 60, haven't you calmed down some? But the point is, and this is not to put fault on black men, but the Dynamic Reason channel was saying, well, basically they both were at fault and she shouldn't have reacted as she did. But what I'm pointing out is, oh, he also was talking about what was wrong with the Caucasian guy, because why would you do that in the middle of the hood? Because he knows nothing's gonna stop him. It's just not. Now, I don't believe in running up on guns, but white men know they don't have to give any respect to black women. Um, Rap music told them that. Just general behavior tells them that they are not afraid of black men, and that if they're not afraid of black men, they're definitely not afraid of black women. And the only protection on earth black women had was black men. But if they don't respect them, they definitely don't respect you. And they know that your men don't really like you that much. I mean, generally I like the Dynamic Reason channel, but he did find a lot of fault with this woman. So I do think, yeah, I can understand being upset, but recognize that there are times coming when the police may not be available. And even if they are available, I told you I had a Scorpio friend years ago, and I remember her saying, do you know how much damage somebody can do to you in the few minutes before the police get there? Now, this man is right on her, holding a gun on her. I just think ladies recognize that even when men do you wrong, sometimes you have to be quiet and try to live through that particular moment. And that's not a criticism of her. I'm just saying, look at the situation we are in right now as women. Okay, to continue with the article, an IMPD police report, which identifies the armed man as white, shows that several bystanders indeed called the cops. Open line call with female yelling at someone stating they pulled a gun out and put it in her face and called her racial slurs. 1911 dispatch call read. The video then zooms out to show the man's 2015 Dodge Ram parked near a gas pump and the woman's black 2017 Chevy Impala parked in front of the truck. White continues to shove the woman up against the sedan as bystanders plead with him to stop pointing the pistol at her. Around a minute into the video, White begins to walk away from the woman and toward his truck. However, as the woman continues to yell at him, White soon turns around and uses both hands to point his gun toward her. Now he looks like he knows what he's doing. And there are several black men standing by, and he does not point at any of them, and I'm glad of it. I'm not saying he should, but my point is he really appeared to want to do her harm and to feel like almost like he is justified. How dare she scream at me after I've screamed and honked my horn at her? It is as though a higher there's a higher standard for black women to be calm. And unfortunately, I think we have to live up to it or try to, because it's the expression, they're not playing with us. They're not playing with women. Nobody's playing with black women, period. Well, back to the article. The woman continues to yell at White as he points the gun to her, and this is important to me, follows her movements. I mean, like they said, there's no shame in his game. He's just like, well, I'm pulling my gun out. You are definitely in the crosshairs. I'm not looking at anybody else. I am only focused on you. Because in a way, it's like, well, no harm will come to me if I do something to you. That seems to be what he's thinking. Other bystanders, allegedly, I don't know what he's thinking, but I'm just saying, in that situation, that's what it appears to be, or appears it might be. Other bystanders are heard telling the woman to leave because the police are on their way. The video then ends after about 3 minutes when the bystander walks inside the speedway. Police in interviews investigation. Police soon arrived to find White and the woman still standing near the gas pumps. Officers told both of them to show their hands, and White was seen holding the silver handgun in his right hand before dropping it into his truck bed. Now, on the channel I was telling you about, he said that she had a gun by her side. So far, they haven't mentioned it. And from the angle of the video, I couldn't tell. So I'm not saying if he did or didn't. I'm just saying, oh, I'm sorry, here it is. The woman told officers that she too had a handgun in her possession, but it was inside her car. Okay, so police later found a black handgun inside a holster sitting in the driver's seat of the Chevy. Okay, it was on her front seat. It was still inside the holster. So I don't know if she pulled it out or what. Like I said, the other channel said that she pulled it out and it was by her side. Both of them were read their Miranda rights by the police, handcuffed and interviewed separately. The woman told officers she was parked next to a gas pump that was out of service when she noticed White pull up in his truck behind her. She said White honked his horn at her multiple times. So she pulled her car forward, parked, and got out. The woman said she then stood outside of her car with her gun in her pocket. Okay, and asked White what the problem was, which then sparked a verbal argument. Now, the other channel did say, well, she should have just pulled off. And she did pull up. And when she got out of the car, she did have her gun, she says, in her pocket. Now, I don't know if somebody is honking and just having a temper tantrum behind you. And I don't think he would have done that to anyone other than a black woman. I don't think he would have done it to a black man. I don't think he would have done it to uh, any other kind of woman or man. I think he reserved that for a black woman because, as Malcolm X said back in the 60s, black women are the most unprotected people out here. So I'm thinking that if you're in a gas station and somebody is throwing a temper tantrum behind you, you don't know if they're armed or not. I kind of think you probably shouldn't get out of your car. Just move. It's not right. You shouldn't have to. But at least maybe you'll live to see another day. Because as black women, we aren't garnering a lot of respect out here, regardless of how much we have tried to be helpful to pretty much everybody. Put that aside and try to kind of escape people um, until they de-escalate or whatever. But anyway, let me continue with the article. There's no need for a way bigger firearm, the woman reportedly said while trying to de-escalate the situation. I will kill you, White is quoted as replying. The woman said White then grabbed her by the throat and strangled her while pushing her up against the car door. She said he also pointed his gun at her head and at one point hit her in the face with it. Okay, you can pretty much see, you know. And again, even though he's 60 and she looks like, I don't know, it's hard to tell. You can't really see her face. She could be anywhere from 20 to 30 or something. Okay, Mark White appears to hold victim by neck against car from video by Kevin Anthony. When asked by police, the victim said that she never pointed her handgun at White during the altercation. During his interview, White agreed with this. Again, ladies, I'm telling you, even when you're right, even when you know you're absolutely right, sometimes it is better to just drive away. Just let them have that moment because people are finding it very hard to deal with any kind of frustration. However, as I said, I think he would have dealt with it if it had been someone other than a black woman. Okay, Back to the article. When explaining his side of the story, White told police he had been waiting behind the woman at the gas pump for a short time when he honked at the woman. He said she reacted by approaching him with a gun at her side. Now, okay, he said she had a gun at her side. She said she had it in her pocket. But when the police found it, it was in the holster on her front seat. So, I don't know. White said he told the woman she better put that gun away and then grabbed his gun from his truck. I walked her back over to the car at gunpoint and told her I will effing blow her head off, White told police. I said I will effing shoot you. Okay, it is not worth it, and I know in the heat of the moment, especially when you know that you haven't done anything wrong, you're sitting there for a reason and you're trying to de-escalate the situation. Recognize that you want to live to go home to whoever you have there waiting for you, or even if you don't have anybody, just go home, period. You want to live another day. And as I'm saying, warning the women in particular, men don't think you should talk. They think that they should be able to do whatever they want to you, and you should not get upset or anything. They feel like it's okay for them to lose their temper, but you better not. And in this case, she said she was trying to de escalate it. She just had the gun for backup. I'm adding that part, but the point is still, ladies, you have to remember men are already bigger, usually, than you, stronger than you, even when it's an older man. Plus, he has a weapon. Let him have the last word. Let him, if you have to, go get gas somewhere else. But let me continue. White said he then ran her up against the car. You notice he's not even lying about it. Oh, excuse me, he's not even attempting to come up with a story. He's like they said, ain't no shame in his game. He's coming right out letting you know. I know that's a very old phrase, but I'm kind of an old woman, so um yeah, he's not hiding this. He's not saying anything. He's not trying to get the mental insanity plea. He's saying, yeah, I did exactly what I did. White said he then ran her up against the car in an attempt to wrestle her gun away from her, but that at some point she threw it into the car. He later told police the woman did not point her gun at him at all. Okay? So that's how the gun got back in the car. Well, that's how the gun was at her side, but then was back in the car, according to him. One bystander stayed on scene and showed police several videos of the incident. Police said the videos showed White pointing his gun at the woman's head and putting her hands onto her neck and putting his hands onto her neck while restraining her. Police also noticed the woman had scratch marks on her neck and head, which is consistent with her and the witness descriptions. While searching White's truck bed, police found a silver Smith & Wesson Springfield 10mm handgun with 10 live rounds that was later booked into evidence. Edwards says he is just relieved no shots were fired and that he wishes people would learn to settle their conflicts without picking up a firearm. I'm just glad that could have been worse, he said. I would sleep better at night if just one person would realize you have so much to lose and it can happen so fast. So think about your actions. Yeah, I totally agree. Even though I recognize at the heat of the moment, it's hard to do that. But ladies, we're being called upon to do it, have to do it. Like I said, in Afghanistan, women aren't even allowed to laugh or smile too loud in their homes. The schools are closed to them. Things are happening worldwide, but especially here in North America for Black women, we are not treated as we are valuable. Um, Even our rap music, not our rap music, but I have long disliked rap music. We went from um, men in songs calling us baby baby and saying how much they loved us to being called all kinds of names. Men have come right out on YouTube, on whatever else is out, TikTok, and talked about how much they don't like black women, how they feel that what comes from white men is so much better than what comes from them. So everybody knows, as far as having a male counterpart who is going to protect you, they pretty much know that they can drive up into a gas station in the middle of the hood, as the other video showed, as the other video I showed you said, or I mentioned said, from the Dynamic Reason channel. They know they can do this. They know not much is going to happen to them, especially if they do it to a black woman. So even though you know you're in the right, sometimes you might have to be quiet about it and let them have the last say. Aftermath arrest. After the investigation, IMPD officers placed White under arrest. He was then taken to the Marion County Jail without further incident and booked on the following charges: intimidation with a deadly weapon, level 5 felony; battery with a deadly weapon, level 5 felony; strangulation, level 6 felony; pointing a loaded firearm, level 6 felony; battery resulting in bodily injury, class A misdemeanor; criminal recklessness, class B misdemeanor. Online records show White is scheduled to appear at 9 a.m. on Friday, January 24, in Marion County Court for an initial hearing in this case. He is being held on a $30,000 bond while he awaits trial. 30,000, that means he only has to post 3,000. He's a 60-year-old white guy with a lot of weapons driving a truck. Chances are he can make that bond, but maybe, maybe not. A report, a police report filed by IMPD shows White is not an Indiana citizen and lists his residence as Hickory, North Carolina. He does not appear to have any criminal history in Indiana. Well, I kind of think he might have one now. But again, my point is, ladies, be careful. Um, you're not the strongest. Even though I'd say this woman she's certainly brave. I really do think somebody's honking and losing their mind behind you. Drive on. Let them just leave. And don't let people know you have a weapon. I hope, she has a concealed carry. Let them come up on you and then you do what you have to do. But you don't let people know what you have, because then they know what they have to handle you. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not in police enforcement, securities, or anything like that. But this is terrifying. It actually reminds me of The Color Purple when Oprah Winfrey was surrounded. In no way a criticism of the men that were there. I think that they were very, very helpful. Even, excuse me, in just sticking around and calling out. If you notice, she didn't even call for them to help, kind of like the Oprah Winfrey thing. All she said was, "Get my children out of here." The same way this woman said, "Hey, call the police." She didn't ask the men to risk their lives, but actually at least one of them did. Just standing there recording, they were risking their lives. So I am not in any way criticizing the men. I'm just saying that generally, non-white men are not really afraid of black men. They fear them more than they fear black women. But that puts black women in a position where anybody at any time can come jump at you. So I'm just saying, be prayerful, number one. And number two, be very, very careful. And number three, sometimes you have to let them have the last word because you don't know who's dangerous until you know who's dangerous. So, you guys, if you have any questions or anything that you want to add to this or how you think, maybe you think what I'm saying about drive away is pretty stupid. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to hear from you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Well, yeah. And you guys have a careful, a very careful and cautious rest of your day. Take care.